Hello everybody, this is going to be about understanding the writing process. I know most of you are pretty familiar with it, pre-writing, the writing, and then the revising and editing, but let's go through this. There is a PowerPoint presentation that you may want to download and take notes as you go through. Otherwise, you can just watch this video. Alright, so professional writers, here's the steps they go through. Pre-writing, scratch outline, writing the first draft, revising and editing, and then reading the paper out loud is a good way of revising and editing. So we'll go through these 5 steps. Alright. So let's start with pre-writing strategies, free writing, questioning, and list making. These are 3 ways that can get your ideas flowing before you start to write. And here, free writing, just jotting stuff down, don't stop, don't worry about grammar, just keep going through it. So here for the assignments. So for a free writing practice here, we're going to use the main idea or topic sentence. Attending college is a stressful experience for me. So if we're going to write a paragraph about how college can be stressful, maybe you want to start by, just free writing, just write down, college is stressful, there are deadlines, etc., 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 and then from that you can start to formulate your ideas. Alright. So here this person started like, you have to choose a major, maybe something like I had to work when I was in college, so maybe that's a point. But here, the point is here, you don't have to worry about spelling and grammar and punctuation. This is just like just get your thoughts down on paper. And then you can do a scratch outline. So for instance, here again is your topic sentence, or this could be your thesis, depending on if you're writing a paragraph or an essay. So attending college can be stressful. So if this is a paragraph, this would be major detail 1, deciding on a major. Detail number 2, major detail, working while taking classes. And then number 3, having time for social life. And then if this were an essay, this could be your thesis statement. Paragraph 1 would be body paragraph 1. Remember, this would be your introductory paragraph with your thesis in it. Body paragraph 1, deciding on a major. Body paragraph 2, working while taking classes. Body paragraph 3, having time for a social life. And then a conclusion paragraph. So that would make this an essay. Now remember, not all essays are just 5 paragraphs long. When you write your research essay, it'll probably be very long. A lot longer than 5 paragraphs. But that's what we usually, that's what I'm going to use for the standard to teach this. Alright, let's go. Let's keep going. Then you want to write your first draft. And again, I went over main point, your topic sentence, and then supporting details. And right now, the last slide, we did all major details. Now we have to have some minor details. We have to fill in or support the major details with minor details. So this is just a paragraph. There is a lot of stress in going to college. This is the topic sentence. First, figuring a major. Number 2, or I would say second, I won't put number 2, but again, this is just a draft, would be working at the same time, and then the third would be, then there is the stress in trying to have any kind of social life. Okay? So this would be your first draft. Then after you write your first draft, you're going to go back and revise and edit. I don't know about you, but when I have a paper due, I think about it while I'm driving. That's where I do most of my thinking, especially when I was having to drive to campus. It was an hour and a half for me one way. So I was doing my English master's degree all online. So I think about my papers as I drive. So, okay, let's continue. So you may want to omit some sentences, add more details, add addition words first, second, third. If you have 3 major details, maybe first, second, third. This way your readers can follow along more closely. It's more sequential. And then here have your caboose sentence. How does it tie it up? I like to call this tying the bow. Tie up the package very nicely. Now again, this is for a paragraph. So here's the first revision, and then the second one common cause. So this paragraph ended up being a cause and effect. So the cause of college stress is selecting a major. So the cause, selecting a major. What's the effect? College stress. So I like the way he changed this to cause and effect. He makes it more clearly cause and effect. So here was what he had first. There's a lot of stress in going to college. Then he makes it tighter. Attending college can be stressful. So he took this sentence, revised it to this sentence. It makes it a lot stronger. Then the writer has decided to omit some details. For example, finding the right major is easier said than done. First of all, that's very informal. I would not write like that. It may be one of the most important decisions in one's life. I may keep that in there. I don't think that's too informal. Okay, and then let's go down. So he omitted some words here. Now he's going to add specific detail. I keep saying he. It could be she too, guys. Sorry about that. So in my case, the major I would really enjoy. Perfect. Here, because you're asking for personal examples, you can use I and my in here. And this is what separates your paper from somebody else's. Someone else may have one common cause of college stress is selecting a major. But what makes this paper unique to you or to this writer? These minor details. Okay, everyone's minor details probably shouldn't be the same. You may have similar major details, but the minor details is what makes you different or separates you. So here's the complete, revised, and edited. Now, revised to me is making revisions, changing things, taking things out. Editing is when you really look at the grammar, the punctuation, the spelling. So revising is a bigger picture. Editing is where you get into the nitty-gritty. And you can read this paragraph over, and I might do this. I might have you guys take this paragraph and break it down. For instance, topic sentence, major, minor, minor, minor. Okay, then here, some students, and one of them have to work almost 40 hours a week. So having to decide, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, many students. So this would be the major detail. And then what's going to support the major detail? The minor details. This is the nit and gritty. This is what separates you from anybody else. And then finally, thinking about what will happen after you graduate can lead to stress. I would not get rid of you. I would say me, or after students graduate. There's no you in formal writing. So I'm a little different than this book. Maybe some of your other teachers as well. But go ahead and read there. So this is really easy. Topic sentence, 1. That's the first major detail. Secondly, the second major detail. Finally, the third major detail. Do you see how easy that was to follow because of the transitions used? So we're going to talk about the addition words. Addition means you're adding transitions. You're adding first, second, third. And they did that. Notice here, I kind of jumped ahead of it. 1, secondly, furthermore, finally. These are all transition words. This furthermore here, this would not be for a major detail, but look, 1, second, finally. Those would be. Furthermore, here, it's an addition word. You're going to add more information, but here it would be used for a minor detail. And then the caboose, or what I call tying of the bow, putting the package, closing the package nicely, putting a bow around it. This worry is never far from my mind. So you're closing everything. Or maybe these three ideas, or these 3 things are, I wouldn't use things, but these 3 situations are very stressful to me while attending college, period. Something like that, just tie it all together. And then the 5th step is to, once you're finished doing all of the other 4 steps, read the paper out loud. Read it out loud. It will resonate with you if like something doesn't sound very good. When my sister was in nursing school in Pennsylvania and I was here, I would be driving to work. Remember, I was an hour and a half. She would read her papers to me and I could say, well, wait, I didn't hear a topic sentence in that last paragraph. And she'd be like, how do you do that? And I would say to her, what is this paragraph about? Answer that question and that will be your topic sentence. You would say this paragraph is about the stress of going to college or attending college, and then get rid of this paragraph is about. Scratch that off. You don't need it. And then I got so good with her that she would be in paragraph 4, and I'd be like, wait, I think paragraph 4 should be moved up under paragraph 2 because you're talking about similar topics. So don't jump topics like that. If you're going to talk about a topic, keep it all together before you move on. So anyway, read the paper aloud. Okay, then, instead of brainstorming, maybe you want to ask questions. So let's take a look here. There have been some real high points in my life so far. So if you don't want to free write, ask questions. And here's some questions you may ask. What, why, how did other people react? What did I say and do? Okay, here, let's see. 3 things that happen at basketball award, helping at home, falling in love. Let's keep going. Write the first draft like we did in the first part, main point, and then the supporting details. I would like them to say major supporting details. Then you're going to revise again, omit, add more details. Remember, when you're adding the details, this makes it separate, your information separate from others. Addition words, remember first, another, second, third. Help your readers find your major details as you go through, and then putting your knot or your bow around the package. All right. So then we'll take a look at this paragraph. So pause and read this paragraph, and then we'll move to the next slide and discuss. Okay, so I skipped a couple slides, but let's take a look here. When I think about high points in my life, I think of 3 very special times. Here are his transition words. First, another, third. So I know right away from this there are 3 major details. Add the caboose or the closing sentence, wrap it up. You can read that there. Now we've done some revising and editing. This step here is to read the paper out loud. So we've talked about number 1, brainstorming, number 2, what we just did, questioning, and then number 3, list making, which is also a form of brainstorming. But instead of writing a paragraph time, you're going to make a list of ideas that come to your head. So for list making, here's our topic sentence, our main idea. Getting 8 hours of sleep a night would be a real challenge for me. And then we're going to list reasons why, or we're going to brainstorm. We're going to list the ideas. Let's take a look. So here's some reasons. You list them that you may not be able to sleep well. Then here you're going to expand on them. Then we'll prepare our scratch outline. So reasons why you can't sleep through the night would be the main topic. And here's number 1. Giving up a lot to my coffee. Caffeine, too much caffeine, that's my drug. Es mi droga. Turning my phone off, and then cut down on TV watching. So these are 3 ways that maybe you can stop or help yourself sleep better. And then again, these will probably turn into our major details because we're only talking about a paragraph here. Now that we have those ideas on our scratch outline, let's go and write the first draft. Again, after we write the first draft, we're going to omit details we don't need. We'll add more if we need them, add addition words or transitions to help our readers follow the paragraph or essay more clearly, and then include our closing sentence or our caboose sentence. Here's the paragraph that the student Grace finally wrote, and let's break it down. So here are the addition words, first of all, next, finally. We know that there are going to be 3 major details in this paragraph. Okay, now we're going to read the paper aloud. Yes, to help find mistakes in your paper, read it out loud. Because as you're reading it, it's not going to sound right to your ear, or have someone else read it. But right now they really want you to focus on read the paper out loud, or aloud. Okay, so final thought, and I hate to read, but I'm going to read it. To master the 2 basic goals in effective writing, making, supporting a point, and to learn to use pre-writing techniques of free writing, asking questions, and then list making. And remember, free writing and list making are very similar. Free writing, write a paragraph. Don't worry about punctuation. List making, write your ideas down, make a list of them, and then maybe group that. Maybe you have 8, 9 objects, then maybe separate them into different categories, okay? Don't worry about this because you'll be doing this as your homework assignment, or the assignments for Townsend Press. So let's just summarize. The writing is a process. You want to get your paper started by pre-writing. And pre-writing strategies are down here. You can use 3 of these, or you may have another one that you like. Then prepare your scratch outline. Write your first draft, revise and edit. Remember, revising is the big picture, cutting, removing things. Editing is more punctuation and spelling. And then read the paper aloud, or have someone else read it to you. But for this chapter, read the paper aloud. Okay, everybody. Now take this information, watch it again, and go ahead and do the assignments. Take care. Thank you.